Hi everybody, this is Milagros, and this video is about making kimchi. In this shutdown where I have not been working since March 17th, I have been really interested in, that's the oven. I've been really interested in just listening inside for what my impulses are and following those creative impulses. And some of those impulses are to make videos and make fermented vegetables, play with my kitties, teach them tricks, practice my Tai Chi and Feldenkrais, draw. It's just been a really luscious, spacious, and rich time. So it occurred to me I was going to make kimchi, and I just thought, well, I'll just make a video about it and share it with you guys, because I think that there are people out there who really need to see something, see what's happening. And I did a first photograph of it, and people responded to it, you know, kind of with interest. So I thought, yeah, I'll just carry on and make this video. So I'll just say that the other morning when I was thinking about kimchi, it occurred to me that kimchi is made from the most powerful, most nutritious vegetables around. Really, honestly, they're on the top of my list of vegetables that I eat almost every day. So that's Napa cabbage, carrots, daikon, and scallions. You can, I'm sure, learn more, or maybe in another video I'll talk more about those vegetables and their medicinal qualities, how good they are for the body. And then it's made with a spice of chili, ginger, and garlic. A piece that I didn't show in the video is of chili flakes, Korean chili flakes that you roast on in a pan until it has a nice fragrance, and then you add some water to make a paste out of it, and then you mix that all with the vegetables. And so that is not in the video, but I hope that you enjoy this video. I hope that if you have the slightest curiosity about what it is to ferment food, and actually, I have to tell you that the experience of fermenting, at least for me, is kind of effervescent. Maybe that's because I'm such an empath, but I feel the effervescence in my body, and it's just super cool to watch it ferment and develop. And then also just the curiosity about the flavor and how it is to blend it with different foods. And I love to use the kimchi in soups. There's a traditional dish made called kimchi stew, and I don't know what the name is in Korean, but it's kimchi with tofu in a broth, and with this really yummy kind of chewy white rice cake. So the way that I would do that is I would make a bone broth, and I would put the kimchi in there, and I would add a little bit of tofu, though I don't eat a lot of soy at all. It's rare because there's some problems with eating too much tofu, and I've experienced those problems. And what else? So tofu, and I would add seafood to it. I haven't tried making the rice cake yet, but that's really exciting to me, and I think I'll be trying that soon, and I'll be sharing that with you in another video. So I hope you enjoy this, and let me know if you end up deciding to make it, and what it's like for you, and how you decide to eat it and pair it with other foods. Enjoy. These are vegetables chopped up for kimchi, soaking in brine of 4 tablespoons of sea salt to a liter of purified water, and they've been soaking overnight. the next step for these vegetables is that they'll be strained from the brine. These are the vegetables strained: carrots, scallions or green onions, daikon, and kohlrabi, which is not typically used or traditionally used. But to this will be added the spices. So I'm just adding some seaweed flakes to this. It's all blended with my spice mix: ginger, chili, garlic, and the chili powder that was roasted. And just a little note, I have the seeds here that I took out of the chilies, and since it's really difficult to find seeds these days to plant in my garden, I'm just keeping the seeds aside and we'll dry them. And when they're dried, I'll put them in the garden. So this is going to go into my fermenting crock pot with a plate on top and the bowl, and we'll sit there for maybe 3 days, 5 days. I'm just going to taste it as we go along and see how the flavor is forming over time. So here's the blend of vegetables and spices, and I'm going to add a little bit of brine to it, the brine that it was soaking in. Not a lot, because as I press it in, I think that's good. It feels good. And then I have a clean plate. You don't want to put too much brine in because then it'll get too dilute or too watery, which I don't want. And then I'm just going to press that in. And I put this lovely bowl of water as my weight into it. Yeah, and then that'll sit in there for a few days, as I said. And this is a crock pot. The Koreans would put their kimchi in crock pots and then put it in the soil, in the earth, and bury it in the earth for a few months. I'm just going to use it for a few days, make it for a few days, and it'll be ready and show you what it's like when it's ready. I'm going to put this in a soup and make some rice kind of dumplings, and add some seafood to that and make it all in a bone broth. And that was the inspiration for going through all this trouble of making kimchi. So this is just part of the whole thing. Thanks, everybody. These are my jars of kimchi from this fermentation. And I like to pack them up so that the fluid comes close to the top, maybe covering some vegetables, but they're already fermented, which means they're preserved. These are traditional ways of preserving food. So there's no need to worry about this spoiling, and it can stay in the fridge for a very long time, which it won't, because I'll be eating it, putting it in soups and having it as sides. And it'll get consumed in a good time. These can even stay out for another week and stay out of the fridge, because that was the whole purpose of making fermented vegetables. I would just need to make sure that the vegetables are submerged in the brine if I was going to do that. But there we are. This is a kimchi with scallions or green onions, carrots, daikon, and kohlrabi in this case. And the spices that make kimchi are chili, garlic, and ginger. Thanks everybody. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I want to encourage you to try it out even if you are not a cook type. There's just exploration available to you, and just learning what tastes good and adjusting each time. So it's not like you have to get it right the first time. It's always really nice to get it right, but you'll get pretty close to it if you just follow these instructions. Okay, I hope you guys experiment and explore since we're still having this shutdown time, and it gives us time to play around. Enjoy.